are you talking about? Oh, the plate is like this big. Well, good morning.
Hi, folks.
Whoa, what a great week!
It's been a week.
It was freaking bananas.
Yes.
If you're like me, you're glued to your couch watching all the softball this weekend.
Wasn't. Her eyes weren't glued to the TV. Her ass was glued to the couch.
That's true.
That's
that
what's
was
going on.
Yeah, wrong gluing part. I glued the wrong part.
There were parts that were glued, and it was about softball. That's what she's saying. Wake up!
I know.
Wake up!
Well,
they're awake. They're with us.
If you didn't know, last weekend the Georgia Bulldogs took down the Florida Gators in their SEC series.
We're just gonna get this out in front of everybody, so you guys don't have to comment and tell us. We slept on Georgia.
Yep, We're
saying it.
I hit snooze.
Yes. which many of you did this morning before our show. We hit snooze. We hit snooze on Georgia, and they showed us why we made a mistake.
Well, come on. Let's talk about why we
were snoozing.
Yeah.
Because they were 6-18 in conference last year.
True story. Finishing dead last in the SEC, and now it looks as though they might win the SEC.
They, just so everybody understands, the 180
hit him with it
that Georgia has done.
Hit him with
it. I'm hitting you with the 180. They are second in batting average with a team batting average of .372, and they are number one in ERA with .82 ERA, team ERA. 6-18 to the best ERA and second best batting average.
Sounds like a recipe for wins for me.
What's happening? Like, why? What's happening?
I would say it's a couple of things. Brittany Gray is having an outstanding year in the circle. She's backed by...
Brittany Gray's feeling herself in the circle.
She had a 0 ERA going into the Florida series, and then she walked away with an ERA of like...
0.19.
0.19.
0.19. She's leading everybody.
That's just ridiculous.
It's sick. It's gross.
And then she's backed by Kylie Bass. I think they've got a stronger pitching staff. And how they swing the bats... I mean, what Tony Baldwin has done with that offense is like a thing of beauty. It's kind of like a masterpiece of hitting when I look at what they do in the box.
Yeah, I mean, we were a DiCarlo fan her freshman season. She's a junior now, and she's just crushing everything. She has 12 home runs in the season. I think she's tied for fourth most in college softball.
And then
she's a monster.
Talk about making a statement. Georgia, they go in and open the game with 3 straight home runs. 3 in a row.
So dirty.
Off of Kelly Barnhill. Now, keep in mind, this is, if you were watching the game, the illegal pitches became a factor in the game. It was, Kelly Barnhill got called for quite a few illegal pitches, and I think that ultimately played into, her mental performance and physical performance in the game. She left some pitches down the middle of the plate, up in the zone, and they got hit out of the park.
Do you think the illegal pitches is going to be something that we're seeing all season called?
I hope so.
Do you think it's going to be a problem for Barnhill?
I hope so. I think, and it's only fair to Kelly Barnhill and like the rest of the country.
To be consistent.
Yes, to be
in the
consistent. And then I have to think that has to ultimately play into the psyche of a pitcher. Not only do you have to worry about pitching a ball under 8 seconds, but you have to pay attention to the illegal pitches being called. So we'll see how no doubt Kelly Barnhill is a phenomenal pitcher, and she'll adjust. I think she's a competitive.
She's a stud.
She's one of the most competitive pitchers in the game, but I think that played a factor into the game. But Georgia came in and made an absolute statement, not only to the Florida Gators, but to every team in the country, that this team can swing it and they could pitch the ball.
Georgia is here, folks, and they are here. They're knocking the door down and telling us. And we have them ranked number 4, which I believe is the highest. USA Today has them 7, and Wow, ESPN has them ranked 11. I'm going to say that ours is probably the most accurate.
Yeah.
I'm a little biased to our rankings, but I think 4 is a pretty good, given what they did with Florida and the numbers that they're putting up as a team.
Absolutely.
I think 4 for Georgia is a fair one.
It's very deserving. And it's not like they just have Brittany Gray, but they can also go to Kylie Bass and there are other pitchers on staff. So I just think, to me, they are looking extremely good, and from top to bottom in the lineup, they're dangerous.
Yeah, they sure are.
And it literally is blowing my mind that they finished dead last in the SEC, and then now we're talking about them potentially being the SEC conference champions.
Well, Ches is talking to them about potentially being SEC. She's making a way too early call here, but I like it. I like where you're going. I like the boldness.
From what I saw from them, I was absolutely impressed by how they played the game. They got something going. They got the juju.
Do you think that some teams, we slept on them, do you think some teams have been sleeping on them? And then
absolutely.
next time Florida rolls around, or they're going to be a little bit,
and
ready.
If you're like me, you absolutely had the flashback of when Georgia totally stunned Florida in the Super Regional.
Yes.
So they have some confidence and swag up against the Florida Gators.
I was
totally reminded of
in 2016.
Yeah, because it
just burned them.
It prevented them from getting the 3rd national title.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is it all coming back to you?
We see you, Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Bulldogs versus Gators. I
think they're so fun to watch, and just literally just watch them swing the bats. It's pretty fun.
It's pretty gnarly. Nestor. Hi, Nestor. Team Salty Sarah. I don't know that I'm going to get salty this morning, but and then Michelle is pointing out Georgia UCLA on June 4th.
Talking about the championship game.
That's what she's calling. What she's calling.
We're going to get to the UCLA Bruins in a bit.
Yeah, I think that was actually a pretty good.
That's actually next.
Great
a good segue.
Great segue, Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
And
yes. UCLA finally lost.
Mm-hmm.
They and Washington were the only undefeated teams in the country.
Yep.
Oregon not only gave them 1, but gave them 2 losses.
Yes.
They stole the series from them. Elish. I don't care that we talk about Miranda Elish every week, because she deserves to be talked about every week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to run it down for you because I'm a stat person, and then Ches is just going to take it. 11-0 is the sophomore's 11-0. She has a .7 ERA. That makes her tied for 9th in the country. 99 strikeouts. She had 9 strikeouts in one game against UCLA.
Against the number 1 offense.
Yes, because UCLA, we talked about Georgia being number 2. UCLA is the number 1 offense. They're batting .385. Yeah, they're batting .385 as a team. She had 9 strikeouts against them. Ches?
Well, Miranda Elish, there was a lot of hype last season when she came in as a freshman, ranked the number 1 player in the country. And she stumbled out of the gate, I would say.
Yeah.
She finished strong, but this year she's coming in guns blazing.
She sure is.
She might be one of the most competitive pitchers in the country. She's hitting her spots. She's got confidence in the circle. She literally believes that she can beat every team or every batter that steps in the box. And she's got great stuff: up ball, down ball, east, west, off speed. If you watch the series, Oregon's pitching staff is really impressive.
It is. It's a dangerous staff.
Yeah, all 3 of them are throwing very well, but Elish, wow, 11-0.
11-0. There was a reason she was our Hot 100 number 1 player. And just a little nugget for everybody this morning. Miranda Elish is also batting .400. She only has 5 at bats, but she's made the most of those 5. She can do it all. Mm-hmm. Just a little juicy nugget for you.
And talk about another pitcher. I know that UCLA went down, but all 3 games were close. Yeah. It's not like these were blowouts.
Well, the one game, Ducks went up 7-0, and they almost blew it, but they closed that one out. But yes, these were close games. These are very equally matched teams.
You know, and I think ultimately Rachel Garcia is going to remember that last pitch she threw to Shannon Rhodes because she knows that she piped it.
Yeah.
And you just can't pipe it
No.
to Shannon Rhodes.
Not when it's goose eggs.
Yeah.
And, like, Shannon Rhodes is up to bat with 2 people on
But
base.
exciting. Watching the Georgia-Florida series, exciting. Watching Oregon, UCLA, very exciting.
We're always excited, folks. We are always interesting and excited.
Well, these teams are just like so closely matched,
Yes.
and it's like a glimpse into the postseason.
Yes.
And it's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can finally put to bed the days of like, oh, the SEC is the dominant conference, like the Pac is back and they are blowing down doors and like they're here. They've showed up to the dance.
Yeah.
And they're ready to tango.
Ooh, good one. A little cheesy.
Got it.
We'll let it slide.
Got it.
We're gonna let it slide.
Ches, I want you to understand that people are talking about your fashion this morning.
Oh, really?
They want to know. They love your shirt.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And they want to know
Thanks,
what the little
guys.
red things are. So go ahead.
Those are lightning bolts.
Yeah. Can we get a zoom? Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is.
I'm feeling kind of electric this morning.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna let that one go.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
We got some love for the Bruins.
Of course. Thanks for getting up this morning. We know it's kind of early.
Yeah. Man, a lot of people want to talk about Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And Zachary wants to know about South Carolina.
Yep. All great topics.
Yes.
We've only got 15 minutes.
Yes,
So we'll try to.
I guess our studio guy needs breakfast. That's why we get cut short now. It was lunch, now it's breakfast.
Yeah.
So we only have 15 minutes.
We're just working around his schedule.
Yeah, so Oregon, UCLA, fantastic. Georgia, Florida. I mean, you talk about SEC matchups, Pac-12 matchups, just wonderful. And then we're going to stay with the Pac-12 and go Arizona State, Washington.
Avi.
Because, yeah, obviously. Arizona State handed Washington its first loss in the season.
And gave them their second.
We have Washington ranked number 3. Arizona State, we have them in the top 10, and I think it's well deserved. I think they're kind of, for me, when I look at our top 10, you know, Arizona State and Georgia were like the ones that was like, I wasn't too sure about that in the beginning of the season. But Ches, if you remember, Ches was sure about Arizona State at the beginning of the season. She reminded me very blatantly that this morning that was her dark horse. Studio guy? Oh, come on. He's eating a banana. Rude. That could not have been worse timing. Man, okay. Well, then never mind. You don't get your dark horse alert this morning. But
look.
We'll take it. Dark horse, Arizona State.
Absolutely. I mean, why wouldn't I call them as being the dark horse? They've got Giselle Juarez in the circle, a killer lefty, and let's just talk about it. 7 straight games with allowing 0 runs. So you're talking about 46 innings, not giving up a single run. She's 11-1.
Run that back one more time for everybody.
So 7 straight games, no runs have been scored against her. You're talking about 46 innings in total. She's 11-1. She's got a .84 ERA, and she's got 130 strikeouts.
She's a freshman.
No, she's a sophomore.
I'm sorry, she's a sophomore. It's okay. Thanks for the fact check. We don't want fake news. She's a sophomore.
She's a sophomore.
At a school in the Pac-12 that has not been at the top the past couple seasons.
Right.
Pay attention to the Sun Devils, folks.
Well, I mean, when you look at Giselle Juarez and also their entire pitching staff, they're one of the top in the nation. And not to mention Trish Ford bringing in those transfers from Fresno State has made a tremendous impact to this offense. So you have Morgan Howe, you have the Hackbarth sisters, you've got Becerra at third base and Jade Gutierrez at short. So I think these transfers have made a tremendous difference to this ASU softball team. They are a force to be reckoned with. They've got a great head coach and an ace lefty in the circle. So in my mind, they're a team that, I mean, literally can be talked about going to the World Series. They're a team that no one should be sleeping on right now. They're very competitive. They got that juju.
They're legit contenders. Like I said, they're a top 10 team for us. So they handed Washington their first loss. Washington came back. Alvela had a great game when she came back. The next game, struck out 13. She's a monster. 13-1, 0.85 ERA, 136 strikeouts. The Pack is back, man.
On the other end of this, on the other end of the spectrum, Washington was going to take a loss sooner or later.
Yeah,
that was just going to happen. You want it to happen now. I think it's not the worst. They're still one of the best offensive teams and defensive teams in the country. But their lefties are going to have to see more lefty pitching, in my mind.
Yeah,
I think
that's a fair point.
When it comes down to it, when you look at some of the top teams like Oklahoma, and you're looking at Arizona State with the lefties, they really come into play.
They sure do. They sure do. West Coast is up. Where is the breakfast burrito studio guy? Robert wants to know. They're finally waking up at the end of our show. They want to know. They want breakfast burritos. We hear you. We hear you, West Coast. We hear you.
Let's talk a little bit about. We've had some people on Facebook bring up Oklahoma. Holy cow, Jocelyn Ello.
She has. She also has 12 home runs on the season. She's tied with DiCarlo and 3 or 4 other players that have 12 home runs on the season. I'm left speechless, which doesn't often happen, folks. So just talking about Jocelyn Allo and then just talking about the Sooners in general. I think they outscored opponents 43-5 at Easton Invitational. They won 15 straight games. We are the only softball entity that has them ranked number 1 right now.
Yeah, shame on you.
Which, come on, that's not a hard call.
It's really not. And Sid Romero is having a phenomenal year.
She was back. Just a heads up.
Big 12.
She's she was Big 12 Player of the Week. She's batting .500.
No big
deal. That's just one for 2. She comes to the plate, 50-50 chance, flip a coin, she's gonna get it. She's gonna get on base. It's pretty phenomenal.
Talk about the pitching.
Any position that you pick, you're just like, oh, and here's another unbelievable stat. So Paige Parker is second in ERA, .37. Paige Lowry, .59. She's number 7. So Paige squared. I told you guys they're Paige squared for me for the rest of the season. They're both top 10 pitchers. Oklahoma doesn't have a weakness.
I'm not seeing it. Not to mention that they're just so deep. And I love the fact that Jocelyn Allo comes in and literally busts the door down.
Yeah, freshman of the year
She
alert.
is such a beast.
Freshman of the year alert.
She absolutely crushes the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of freshmen that I'm absolutely impressed with this year. You were talking about Mary Half from Arkansas having a great year. Someone mentioned Aaliyah Jordan. Aaliyah Jordan, we were excited about her when she was supposed to start, and then she had that injury. And that girl, she just came in, and it's just lights out in the box.
The young pitching, the young hitting, I'm just super excited about the young talent that is in college softball right now.
Right.
They are just blowing down the doors, and we're here, we're ready to play.
Absolutely. Allie, you got to watch Oklahoma a bunch this weekend. What did you think?
No, I did. It was honestly just so much fun watching them. Obviously, every time they get in the box, they're just swinging, just taking daddy hacks all day, every day. So it was a lot of fun. Obviously, watching Sid just kill it every time she went up, but overall, just great.
Honestly, Sid can be in contention for Player of the Year this year.
Yeah, she's having a great season.
Alyssa DiCarlo, I'd put in that category. Obviously, you've got Paige Squared.
We're hashtagging that page squared. Hit us up on Twitter.
I mean, if Brittany Gray continues on this trend of just being lights out, that's another.
You got DeCarlo.
Yeah, and Megan Gregg. Oh,
let's
talk about Tennessee for a second.
Talk about
we
Tennessee.
Put them at number 2, and they have the 2 leading RBI producers like in the country.
Yeah, we just spent. We've spent 25 minutes talking about college softball and blowing your minds, and we haven't even mentioned our number 2 team yet, Tennessee.
Yeah, I think. Well, we'll see. They're going to enter SEC play, so
Sure.
we'll see. But to me, their like 1-2 punch in the circle is phenomenal. You've got Kaylin Arnold and Maddie Moss, and then you have Megan Gregg, who's backed by third baseman Chelsea Segurn. So they are looking stellar on offense and stellar in the circle. So we'll see. I mean, that's another.
Yeah.
Who's going to win the SEC?